Welcome to today's Daily Dose, and I'm TJ Norman. We are continuing to look at the good news in Mark. Today we're on Mark chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. Another time he went into the synagogue, and the man with a shriveled hand was there. Some of them were looking for a reason to accuse Jesus, so they watched him closely to see if he would heal the man on the Sabbath. And we see this in Mark chapter 3. We see a powerful moment in the life of Jesus, where his compassion and commitment to doing good come face to face with a rigid legalism of the Pharisees. Whenever Jesus shows up, things happen. Let's explore what this passage reveals about the nature of Jesus and how it challenges us in our daily lives. Jesus regularly attended the synagogue services, highlighting the importance of communal worship and teaching. Whenever Jesus shows up again, things happen. We see that in Mark chapter 1, verses 21 through 28. A demon-possessed man confronted him, and Jesus' presence in the synagogue shows his commitment to engaging with people in their place of worship and teaching. And now, second, we see the man with the shriveled hand. And a man was there with a shriveled hand, and the condition was not just a physical, but also a social condition. As disabilities often lead to marginalization, as in Mark chapter 3 begins, we see Jesus again in the synagogue, but this time his action was different. Jesus had previously healed in various locations, but now his healing power is released in the synagogue for the man with a shriveled hand. Many people who love Jesus today come regularly to worship, but for some, something in their lives has kind of shriveled up. Perhaps you have never had a shriveled hand or disability, but instead have had emotions or ambitions or longships or hardships or relationships that have been hurting. Your reach in life is not as far as you wanted to go sometimes. You wanted to go out and do some amazing things in your life, but you can't. But the good news is that the Lord stretches his hand out to you just like that man with the shriveled hand. His power can make you whole. So reach your hand out to him. It's amazing. As they watched Jesus to see whether he would heal him on the Sabbath, and so they might accuse him as well. The Pharisees were more concerned with maintaining their interpretation of the law than with the well-being of the man with the shriveled hand. Criticism feeds criticism. The negative people around Jesus couldn't see that the good because they were too caught up with the fact that he was doing everything the way that he would do it. This highlights the critical tension between legalism and compassion. Jesus constantly prioritizes love and mercy over strict legal adherence. Again, it's that grace over legalism. The criticism against Jesus repeatedly came from the teachers of the law. They gained their title through years of schooling and mastering religious regulations, but they missed something better than the title, teachers of the law. They were never called teachers of grace. When we practice and teach grace rather than the law, we don't have time to sit around and pick at every little thing. Grace reaches out to help. Legalism can only judge. Those who are there with shriveled in life can only be helped by the grace. And Jesus, the grace of God, reaches out to take our hand and restore us to the full life that he's given us. Today, let's reflect on how we can emulate Jesus' compassion in our own lives. Let's look for ways to extend kindness and help those who are struggling, even if it means stepping out of our comfort zones. Remember that we have to have the heart of God's law and love. Let's strive to put people and their needs above the rigid adherence to traditional rules. Thank you for joining me on today's Daily Dose. We'll see you again tomorrow.